This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we have a KitchenAid oven that has a stuck key on the keyboard. So when it's working, it says stuck key. We're going to be replacing the keyboard. We're just made sure we unplugged it, got it pulled out from the wall. We're going to take off these 1/4-inch screws on the back upper panel. It's actually a pretty easy procedure. We have the new keyboard ordered. It's kind of a bad design. They have the venting of the oven, some of the heat comes out right underneath the keyboard, and the moist hot air, when you cook something, will get up inside and short circuit the keypad. So, not a great design. Once you get in your new keyboard, just take a look underneath the keyboard in the front and you'll see the vent ports coming out of the oven. You might find a way to deflect that heat so it does not come straight up into the keyboard. Otherwise you'd be doing this keyboard maybe once every year. So we're taking the back panel off. These keyboards are pretty expensive. And then we just have to remove the main controller is hooked to the back of the keyboard. It's just held in by 4 screws. One here in each of these 4 corners. So this ribbon connector that connects between the keyboard and the controller, we need to remove it. And there's a little plastic piece here at the top that we push in. I'm going to use a standard head screwdriver. Just be careful when you're doing this that you don't damage this ribbon cable. Push in on this top, and then I'm going to lift it out. And now, when I remove these screws that hold in the corners of the controller, I can just pull the controller right off of the keyboard. And then I'll be able to remove the keyboard. Be careful on that ribbon cable that you never pull by the white ribbon cable, but just pull by the black connector only. So I'm using these Torx drivers to remove these 4 fasteners. You can get that last one out, the bottom one. And you can just leave the wires connected to the controller. You can just gently let it drape down against the back of the oven wall, and then you'll have nice access. So we're just going to let it lay down here. Have nice access to the keyboard. The keyboard's held in by a lot more fasteners, so it's going to take you a little bit longer. But we're just going to spin out all these fasteners. I believe there's 8 of them holding it in. When you're doing the last fasteners, just make sure you're holding on to the keyboard because you don't want it to fall out. Same when you're putting in the new one, because it has a lot of glass. We don't want that glass to break. Again, when you're all done with the procedure, take a look to see where the oven vents. Maybe there's a way you can protect the keyboard. So we got all the fasteners out. We're taking the old keyboard out. We're going to set it down. We're going to have to remove this ribbon cable because we're going to need to use it on the new keyboard. So just find a nice flat surface and just take your time. It's the same type of thing. There's a little plastic piece that you have to push in on to release it, and I'm using a standard head screwdriver to push in on that. Then I ended up actually using some needle nose pliers to grab the plastic, the black plastic, and just pull it up on both sides because it didn't want to budge. It was really in there. Just take your time on this part. Finally got it loose. So that's this ribbon cable. We need to use this again on the new keyboard. So here's the new one. I'm just going to plug in one side of the ribbon connector in, and just make sure once you get this in position, get it straight, push it down in there pretty strong. Make sure it's in there nice and flush and really locked in, so it just will not move any further. Now we're putting the new keyboard into position, and we're just going to put in all these fasteners to hold it in. Make sure they're tight. Careful here that we don't drop this keyboard and let it hit the ground, because there's a lot of glass that can break. So we're getting all the new fasteners in, getting them tight. Power ran out on my Milwaukee screw gun, so I'm having to do them by hand. Let's get that last couple fasteners in there. Get the controller back in. We got the modular connector back in. We're just putting the back panel back on, and then the little trim piece. And then when I tested it, the keyboard did great. So the old one had just gotten overheated or got some moisture in there, and it short-circuited it and caused what's called a stuck key. That's actually what it says on the display. Get those all in there, get them tight. But it heated up fine, and this one will last for a long time, as long as I can keep the hot air from the oven vent from going up and frying the keyboard again. So thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance. Thank you.